Hey everybody, what's up? This is Ben with Run Slow to Run Fast. Thanks for joining me today. Today I'm going to give you my review and initial thoughts of the NordicTrack ELITE 900. You can see behind me, it's a treadmill that I picked up at Costco, so stay tuned and cue the intro. And we're back. Thanks so much for joining me today, everyone. Before we get started on my review of the treadmill, make sure to take a moment to like and subscribe to my channel. It really helps me out a lot. I really appreciate it. Also hit that bell to get notifications for when I do upload new videos, which I try to do every couple of weeks or so. So I'm going to try to make this video the best I can while holding my GoPro. So you can see the treadmill behind me. I'll kind of move out of the picture as I walk you through a few things. So just before I get into kind of some of the specifics of it, so this treadmill is one that just barely hit for most of the Costco's that I saw. I was able to pick this one up at one Costco, and then the next day I saw it at a different Costco. So it is available. I've seen it. I actually talked to a friend who lives in a different state, and they said that they were getting them at their Costco's as well. So I think they're hitting a lot of different Costco's right now, so they should be available anywhere that you find them. For me, it was $7.99. I assume that's a similar price across the country. There may be a few places where it's a little bit different, but that should be the standard price is $7.99. So, you know, fairly inexpensive treadmill, but I think you get a lot of value for it. So let's go ahead and dive in. So the treadmill itself, as far as setup, I will say that the setup was a little bit tedious. It just comes in a big box, and the box itself is large. It weighs about 200 pounds. As you might imagine, treadmills are rather heavy to lift, so you're gonna need a couple people to get it into your house. And then as far as setup goes, I was able to set it up by myself, but it did take me about 3.5, almost 4 hours. So expect that it's gonna take you some time if you're doing it alone. If you have a second person, it obviously will go a little bit quicker. My guess is you'll get it done in about 2.5 hours. So you will save a little bit of time if you have a second person there. But ultimately the way that it comes is you'll just get the actual bottom piece of the treadmill first, and then what you have to set up is everything here on top. So as far as that goes, the setup was fairly straightforward and simple. There weren't a lot of, there weren't a lot of things that were confusing to me. So pretty easy setup. I will say that as far as just the general build quality of it, it's not great. It's not going to be like a commercial treadmill that you're going to find in a gym. Obviously those ones are going to cost $2,000 to $4,000 or $5,000 or more. So you've got some pieces here. You can see kind of the side here is just a plastic piece. It does not have the EKG or the heart rate monitoring sensors here on the hands. So that is one of the things about it. It does have a 3 horsepower motor here. So fairly powerful. I was actually looking at another treadmill that was about $1,400, and it had a 2 3/4 horsepower motor in it. So it definitely does have a lot of power for at least that price point. I think is a really good value there. And what you get because of that horsepower is you're going to get a little bit more. As I mentioned, the treadmill that I was looking at before, it was 0 to 10 on the incline and then 0 to 10 on the speed. This one goes up to 12 on both of them. So you have a 12% grade that you can put it to. That gets you almost 700 feet of vertical incline in a mile, if you're wondering what a 12% incline is. And then 12 on the speed as well. So fairly good there. Again, that bigger motor gives you that. Just to walk you through kind of some of the specs on it, I mentioned the 3 horsepower motor on it. You do have a 20-inch wide belt, and then it is 60 inches long. So fairly long, especially if you're a taller runner. You want that length so that if you have a longer stride or you're doing speed work, you're going to be able to have enough that your foot isn't gliding off or falling off of the treadmill. So you do want that. That longer belt is definitely a plus. Plus, if you're a taller runner, I myself, I'm not super tall. I'm just under 6 feet, so I don't really need that, but it is nice to have that longer treadmill for just additional safety. Walking through the actual features, I think one of the big things that a lot of people like and want with this treadmill is it does come with iFit. So you've got a 7-inch touch screen here, and 7 inches is fairly small, but you still get some pretty good screen space on that. So that is something that's really nice. iFit is actually really cool. You get a 1-year membership of iFit. I think you get a family membership with it when you buy the treadmill. So be sure to sign up for that and you get that full year. It's really cool. You have a ton of different workouts that you can do. You can do runs, you can follow people on trail runs, you can do a walk on the beach, you can do hikes. With iFit, you also get things like, let's say you have a bike that you want to use for some some indoor workouts on a bike. It has that available. It has strength, core, conditioning, all sorts of different things and different trainers that you can utilize that I think are really cool. I will say that the touch screen on this, it is a little bit, it's not great, it's a little bit laggy. There's sometimes when you try to push something, you can see I just hit that there and it didn't respond. So you've actually got to be very intentional with the way that you hit the screen and what buttons you're pushing. You can see again there, you've got to wait. Trying to hit that search button. There you go. So what you can do is you can browse different workouts and you can see, you can do different durations, different trainers if there's somebody that you specifically like. You can do, if you want a hike, a walk, a run, those sort of things. You can also do it by intensity. So if you're just doing a recovery, then you can do something at lower intensity. You can see you've got mental health, beginner, all sorts of different things. So really cool there. I think that's one of the huge benefits and one of the things that drew me to this specific treadmill as well. I will say, just as far as reviews of kind of what it is a little bit noisy. It's not crazy loud, but it is a little bit noisy, especially when it's increasing and decreasing the incline on it. So when it's doing that, it is a little bit noisy, so much so that it actually is louder than the trainer from the audio, even if you have the audio turned all the way up. So that is one of the setbacks. It doesn't have very good sound. And then if you were to turn on the fans, it's really nice that it has the fans and you've got different levels that you can turn the fan, more powerful or less. But again, with those fans, once those fans get going, especially if you have them on full blast, it's going to be really hard to hear the trainer. One of the nice things about the treadmill, though, is that if you do have wireless earbuds or headphones or something like that, you can connect them. So my guess is if you have those connected, you wouldn't be able to hear the fans as much, and you'd get much better sound quality from the treadmill. You do have these OneTouch Controls is what they call it. So basically, if you're getting started, you can just hit the 3 and it'll start at 3. If you want to go up to 7 really quick, you just hit that and it'll crank up the speed for you really quickly, as opposed to doing it slowly. You do have the buttons here at the bottom as well. So if you wanted to just up your speed slowly, you can do that. If you want to do your incline or decline, you've got that as well. Start and stop buttons there. And then you do have this kill switch as well. It comes with a belt clip. It's kind of cheap. This belt clip is actually plastic. So you can imagine that thing might break pretty easily, but basically you just clip that on your waistband, and if you were to fall off the treadmill, it automatically kills the belt so that you don't sit there and just let the belt grind your head for a few minutes. So that's just a really quick review of the treadmill. Overall, again, I think it's a really good value and quality for what it is. I so far have done several different activities on it. I've done hiking and some runs. I've mostly done low intensity runs, so I haven't done super high intensity. I haven't cranked it up to 12 just yet. But overall, I think it's a really good build quality. You might be wondering, where did you put it? What did you put it on? What I did is I actually bought some stall mat from Tractor Supply, and that's a 4x6 stall mat. And you can see, I'll show you here underneath, you're just barely, it's just barely enough room there on it. So I've got it pushed almost all the way up against the wall. And then, Yeah, so it eats up all that space. One of the nice things about it that I actually didn't notice until I purchased it is you'll see this kind of metal framing underneath it here. This metal frame, what it does, you see you've got a wheel here on the back. Let's say I've got it in my gym, but I wanted to move it over to the living room or something like that. You just lift up the front of or actually the back of the treadmill, and those will kind of pop out, and then you can just wheel it around as needed. So that's really nice to make it very easy to move. You don't need two people or anything like that. So overall, really enjoy it, really like it. You know, treadmill's a great opportunity for a lot of people to, for me at least, it's getting out of the elements. I live in Utah and we get snow occasionally. So when it's snowy or colder, it definitely has some benefits to having that treadmill. For me, I also am a busy dad. So if I wanted to up my mileage, it makes it very simple to be able to stay home. I don't have to leave the house and leave the kids at home to go running. I can just put in a few miles in the evening on the treadmill. One thing that I failed to mention that most treadmills have nowadays is this one has basically a cushion deck, so it's going to give you a little bit of a softer landing than you would on an outside hard surface. So yeah, that is the NordicTrack ELITE 600 treadmill. Again, you can pick it up at Costco for $7.99. I didn't see it online, so you're gonna have to look in stores for it. But overall, I think it is a very good value. Again, at that $800 price point, I think you get a lot for it. So hopefully you liked and appreciated this review. Again, take some time to like and subscribe to my channel. It really helps me out a lot, and I appreciate it very much. So thanks for sticking with me all the way through the video. And remember, run slow to run fast.